Hello, and welcome to First Aid for New Trainers. I'm Deb Laurel, and the purpose of First Aid for New Trainers is to help new trainers, solo trainers, and trainers who are accidental trainers, those who are subject matter experts and are now in a training capacity. The whole idea is to help you build some skills and answer some of your questions. Our focus today is on a learner's Bill of Rights. If you'd please introduce yourself, your name, your location, your company, and how you heard about the program. Kat, that's not going to be necessary for you.
Okay.
As I know the answers to all of those questions. A little bit about me. I've designed and delivered skill-building training programs for over 35 years on a national and international basis. I've trained and certified trainers in the United States, Kenya, Nigeria, Zambia, Croatia, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates. So the first question is, what is the one thing that would make this session worthwhile for you? Please enter your response in the chat window, or you can just say it if you want.
Do you want me to answer the question?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. How many of you have felt somewhat anxious at the beginning of a training program when you were the participant? Please raise your virtual hand or your real hand, either one. Okay. And how many of you have ever felt that your active participation was not welcomed by the instructor? Raise your hand. Yes, we have all been there. So why do learners need a Bill of Rights? To answer this question, you're going to need your phone. You're going to go to menti.com, and you are going to enter this code, 6715-5263. And I'm going to move to that screen, hopefully. So why do learners need a Bill of Rights? And I've got to go there too. Menti.com. Okay. 715-5263. Protection, to feel valued. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like the different colors. To feel heard. Yes. To feel valued, to feel heard, and protection. Protection from feeling that vulnerability where you don't know what the trainer is going to do or expect of you. And hopefully protection from interminable lectures. And what should a learner's Bill of Rights include? If you would put that in chat. Expectations. I'm assuming expectations of the trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look at the name of it, Bill of Rights, the right to be treated with respect, to have their knowledge and experience appreciated. Anything else that should go in a learner's Bill of Rights? Okay, thank you. So let's talk about a learner's Bill of Rights. There are 10 that we're going to look at. First, freedom of speech. As long as you don't hold on to the floor or rudely interrupt others. You also have the right to be heard, to assemble peaceably, and petition for a redress of grievances. So we don't want anyone monopolizing the conversation. And we want people to feel comfortable raising their hand, giving their opinion, asking questions. And if they are concerned about something, being comfortable enough to bring that up to the instructor. The right to bear arms. Now, this is only appropriate for classroom training, but raising bare arms is appropriate for all who bathe regularly when ready with a question or contribution. 3, no imposition of unreasonable quarters. This includes the right to be quartered in a well-heated, air-conditioned, and or ventilated room. I have actually done training where people came to the room with their blankets. And they said it just was always that cold. Now, unfortunately, it was summer outside and I was dressed for summer. I got a terrible cold. No one shall be forced to remain in classroom quarters during fire or bathroom emergencies. And this brings up the fact that it's important for an instructor to be able to know where the exits are and what the crisis protocol is. I was once doing a program and we had a tornado warning. And we had to all march down to the basement where there weren't any windows and bring our flip charts and continue to do the program there. No unreasonable searches and seizures. Learners have the right to make mistakes. That's the only way we learn. Nothing that we do the first time is going to go correctly. And if one is unable to answer a question correctly, the instructor will not cause embarrassment. I studied under Dr. Madeline Hunter out of UCLA, and who has since passed. And she was an eminent educator. And she went to Brazil, and she was at one of their universities, and the dean was honored to have her there and wanted her to observe one of their best instructors. So Madeline came in, sat down, and watched the instructor, although she couldn't understand the language. And when the dean turned to her at the end of the program, end of the session, Madeline said, "That was really dreadful." And the dean was somewhat horrified because, how could you even tell you couldn't understand what she was saying? And Madeline's response was, "I didn't need to understand what she was saying. I could see what she did, because what she did was she asked a question and then pointed at one of the students. And it was clear the student didn't answer correctly because she waved her hands in the air, saying, essentially, no, 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 and then picked on another participant. And she did that until she got the answer she wanted. Now, she embarrassed those students who couldn't answer and put them on the spot, made them very vulnerable. They're certainly not going to offer to participate in the future. And what Madeline said should have happened was, if the person didn't answer correctly, the job of the instructor is to coach them to the correct answer, and then later hold them accountable for the answer. So it's not trying to find people doing things wrong. It's to help them do things right. Exemption from self-incrimination. If you didn't do the assignment and can get away with it, good for you. But you may pay the price later. It is a difficult issue for many trainers who may send out pre-work and expect and hope that participants will pay attention to it and will complete it, and then will remember to bring it with them. And unfortunately, we can't count on that. So it helps to build in a little time so people can complete the assignment before on the previous training day, or before the training actually commences. The right to a speedy trial. You have the right to try new things and put learning to use as quickly as possible, either in simulations or real-life situations. So the point is that we're building skills, we're building attitudes. We want people to immediately have an opportunity to use what they have learned. It might be a case study, it might be a role play, it might be a worksheet, but we want them to use it immediately. If it's not used immediately, it will not be retained. The right to a jury of your peers. You are entitled to a class of peers who will not judge or jeer, but make you feel safe and supported when faced with new challenges. This is the reason why when we start multi-day training programs, we initially create our operating principles. What is everyone going to agree to that will make everyone feel comfortable and safe? No, the right to be treated with respect, the right to be heard, the right, it gets to a Bill of Rights to a great extent, but it is generated by the class. And then if someone is stepping over a line, you can just simply refer them to the operating principles established by the group. There are times, however, when in a class I have had to say, it's my job to keep this a comfortable place, and this behavior is not welcome. You don't want to get to that point, but there are times where you need to. No cruel or unusual punishment. Learners shall not be subjected to interminable lectures, excessive homework, nor ridicule or scorn by the instructor or fellow students. And what do we mean by interminable lectures? Something that goes beyond 5 or 10 minutes maximum. Now, if you are teaching something that, excuse me, no one else in the room knows, then you can feel free to lecture, because that's the only way they're going to get that information. But you need to break up that lecture so that people are doing something with what you've taught them or what they have heard from you, so that they can put it to practice. So no longer than 10 minutes for a lecture. excessive homework, if it's going to take more than 15 or 30 minutes, realize that people have lives and they're not going to have time to do a lot, and they'll resent it. I call it home practice. Poor attempts at humor deemed painful to some shall be exempt. I think this is a roundabout way of saying it's okay to have a sense of humor. Matter of fact, sometimes it's absolutely necessary. Equal treatment of all. All shall be treated respectfully, regardless of age, hobbies, hairstyle or abundance, gender, skin type, religion, or attire. I think that we would add a number of other categories here as well. And the right to have fun. Learners have the right to laugh, play, and challenge anyone who pollutes the environment with negative energy. We use energizers to keep learners' energy up. Very often those energizers get people laughing, and it's a sense of play, whether it's throwing a cush ball around or playing some quick game. It's important that learners are happy and are relaxed, because they're going to learn much more quickly that way. So in summary, a learner's Bill of Rights: to speak and be heard, to be treated with respect, to actively participate and ask questions, to make mistakes without embarrassment, to put learning to use as soon as possible, to feel safe and supported, and to be free from interminable lectures. So, what are your questions about this or anything related to training? Okay. Hearing no questions, next week's topic will be adult learning principles in practice. So, what do we know about how adults learn, and how do we practically put that into effect by the choices that we make as trainers? If you would put your key takeaway in chat, I would appreciate it. And if you would be so kind as to leave a review that includes your key takeaway at that location. I have put that URL in the chat. I want to thank you for coming. I hope this was useful, and I will look forward to seeing you next week.